that tribute you paid to Mr. Angus, please, because that was not recorded. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost. It's with deep respect and gratitude that Angus Council pays tribute to the late Harry Angus, who served our community with courage, dedication and compassion. Harry joined Scottish Fire and Rescue Service in 1998. Throughout in Brechin, Harry showed an unwavering commitment to protecting others, often putting himself in harm's way to keep our community safe. Harry was a highly decorated firefighter and received 2 commendations, his first in 2018 for long service and the second for the part he played in the rescue of residents in the River Street area during Storm Babette. Beyond his professional duties, he gave generously of his time through voluntary work with Brechin City as a young lad and later as a coach of Brechin City youths, and latterly a coach and administrator of the Brechin City Amateurs. Harry also volunteered at Brechin Cricket Club. A keen cricketer in his youth, he gave his time freely and touched the lives of many and helped strengthen the bonds within our community. Harry will be remembered not only for his bravery and professionalism, but also for his kindness, humility and tireless spirit of service. His legacy lives on in the people he helped, the lives he saved and the community he helped to build. Harry will be sadly missed and remembered fondly. On behalf of Angus Council and the residents of the Brechin and Edsall ward, we extend our heartfelt condolences to Harry's son Aaron, daughter Rebecca, partner Nicola and her children, his parents, wider family, friends and colleagues. We honour his memory and thank him for a life of service that will not be forgotten.
Thank you very much, Councillor Scott. Well said. Members, the next item is agenda item number 3. It's the minute of the previous meeting, and we record the minute of meeting of Angus Council on the 26th of June 2025. Are they approved? Thank you very much. Agenda item number 4 is a notice of motion in terms of Standing Order 24.1, and it's been submitted by Councillor Duff. Councillor Duff, speak to it. Do you have a seconder?
Yes. Provost, I have a seconder. It is the Leader of the Council.
Thank you very much, Councillor Duff. You have 5 minutes to speak to your motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Provost. I don't think I'll need 5 minutes. I think the motion relates to the overhead power proposal from SSEN. This is a major issue across all parts of Angus, the Mearns, parts of Aberdeenshire and indeed in Highland. Many elected members have been approached by constituents. There's been many public meetings and there are several campaign groups being set up. Discussions with officers took place about a route for elected members to express their views and represent their constituents, and we spent quite a long time crafting a satisfactory motion. And certainly my thanks go to the officers who participated in that. That was very helpful. If you think I wrote it, you would be wrong. So what we're calling for really is a special meeting, which will take place near the end of the sort of statutory 8-week process that we have to consider this application. That will allow elected members to express their views, after they've read the report from the planning manager, and any comments they make can be captured in an appendix to that report. I think I believe Joel Patterson is online today, so if you've got any further questions, I would suggest that you direct them to Joel Patterson, not myself. But that's really all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Duff. Councillor Meakin, do you wish to say anything?
Provost, I'm happy to second the motion put forward by Councillor Duff. The importance of this joint motion can't really be overstated. The pre-application has shown a high level of engagement and communication from our constituents. This reflects the community's vested interest in the outcome of this application. I fully support the motion's call for the Chief Planning Officer to produce a comprehensive report, including an addendum detailing the views of members. Additionally, the proposal to hold a special Angus Council will provide an essential platform for members to scrutinise and contribute to the response, ensuring that it reflects the collective views and concerns of our Council. In conclusion, I urge my fellow councillors to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Meehan. I'm just going to remind members there should be no discussion on the principle or merits of this proposal. Members should also be clear that should we agree the motion, any discussion will be limited to our role as a statutory consultee. Okay, thank you. Councillor Beattie, thank you.
Thank you, Provost. Yeah, I'm really glad to see this motion, and I'm absolutely in support of it. I think it's really important for the public, but also for us to offer support to the officers that have got a massive task ahead of them. And you know, I think I would hope that all elected members would back this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Beattie. Councillor Proctor.
Thank you very much, Provost. Yeah, I would concur with that. Very, very important in many of the wards. In one of my community council submitted comments and observations to SSCN 37 and have never had any reply. So I really do feel that it's something we should support and get behind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Dorn.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pleased to support this motion as well. As people will be aware, I brought a motion last year regarding us writing to the Scottish Government to ask to an extension to the number of people or groups that are listed as statutory consultees from the Energy Consents Unit. So that letter was sent, and I don't believe we've had a response to that letter, but I support this plan going forward for us and the responses to this application.
Thank you very much. Councillor Gavin Nicholl, thank you.
Thank you, Provost. This line goes through the majority of my constituency, and I am in favour of the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Melville.
Thank you, Provost. I won't repeat a lot of the points that have already been raised, but this is one of the most significant energy projects that has touched parts of Angus for a very long time. There is an incredible amount of public interest in this. It's also important for elected members to set a process that means that we can have some sort of say in this, and not just on this, but if there are future projects like this that come down the line, we want to set a positive precedent, which means that elected members can feed into that process. So I'll be supporting the motion, and I hope everybody else does the same.
Thank you, Councillor Melville. Councillor Scott.
Thank you, Provost. Pleased to support this motion, and again thank the planning officers for their hard work and their help with this motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Cowdy, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just concur with a lot of what other people have said. As it stands, interestingly, this project wouldn't be going through my ward, and yet I have still had more contact about it than I think anything else since being a councillor. So I'm very keen for us to be able to have a say in due course. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Oh, Councillor Cheap, sorry.
Yeah, thanks, Provost. I think it's worthy of note. I totally concur with the words of Councillor Melville here. This is of such importance throughout Angus that we, as elected members representing our constituents, must have a say and be able to openly debate this. So I heartily support the motion and look forward to the special council meeting.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? No, don't see anybody online either. Councillor Duff, you have the opportunity to sum up if you wish. Thank you.
Thanks, Provost. All I will say is it's good to have unanimity on this issue, and it's nice to see the comments from other elected members. So thanks for that.
Yes, I agree, Councillor Duff. Okay then, in that case, is this motion agreed? Agreed. Thank you very much. Now, agenda item number 5 is appointments to committees. We're advised that Councillor Louise Nicholl has intimated her resignation from the Communities Committee, and accordingly we're asked to fill this vacancy. Are there any nominations? Councillor Meehan.
Thank you, Provost. We nominate Councillor Ian Gall.
And a seconder?
I'll second that.
Okay, is that agreed? Thank you. Development Standards Committee were advised that Councillor Dorn has intimated her resignation from the Development Standards Committee and accordingly were asked also to fill this vacancy. Nominations. Councillor Meakin, thank you.
Thank you, Provost. We nominate Councillor Tommy Stewart.
Thank you very much. And Councillor Vaughan seconding. Thank you. Is that agreed? Okay. The Family, Education and Justice Committee were advised that Councillors Gregg and Councillor Scott have intimated their resignation from that committee and accordingly were asked to fill these two vacancies. Councillor Meakin.
Thank you, Provost. We nominate Councillor Stewart and Councillor Wan.
And a seconder, please. Councillor Proctor. Thank you. Now, the next one's the Housing Committee. Oh, is that agreed? Sorry. Yes, that's just as well somebody's keeping me right. The Housing Committee, the Council is advised that Councillor Louise Nicholl has intimated her resignation from the Housing Committee and accordingly we are asked to fill this vacancy. Councillor Meakin.
Thank you, Provost. We nominate Councillor Proctor.
Thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Vaughan. Is that agreed? Thank you. Now, the remuneration of the business manager, we're advised that Councillor Gavin Nicholl, business manager, is now spokesperson for planning and infrastructure, and the revised role will be paid in line with that of vice conveners. Thank you. Yes, Councillor Brace.
Yes, just a point of clarification. This is quite an unusual one, I think, at E there, where this is presented to us as a fait accompli. You're moving Councillor Nicholl from his role as business manager to a newly created role that I've no idea what it really means, what this role's about. And it is still a remunerated position, but Council's not getting any opportunity to propose or nominate anyone else. I'm not suggesting they would want to, but it just seems a bit unusual. Thanks.
Perhaps Councillor Meakin, do you want to? No?
No, we followed the process as we saw it and believe it was actually our gift, but I mean, if somebody can advise on that.
Thank you, Provost. Yes, just to confirm, the administration have made this change. It has been discussed with both myself and the Section 95 officer of the Council.
Can I just ask what the role will entail in terms of duties, responsibilities, planning, of course, being a quasi-judicial potentially position, and I think we should just all be clear about what this new position will entail in terms of the Council.
Thank you, Provost. The position will be, as it says, it will be spokesperson for planning and infrastructure and all that that entails.
Okay. Anyone else? And that's for noting. Is that noted? Thank you. Yes, Councillor Devine.
I have a quick comment here. I suppose I'm a bit surprised that there's not another resignation, and that's one from Angus Alive, because a member of the administration was voted onto the board, but since then hasn't actually attended any meetings since. So I kind of wondered why that resignation wasn't coming forward.
Well, I wasn't aware of that, Councillor Devine. Councillor Vaughan.
Yeah, we've made a slight error in the fact that it should have been in these papers, but we're a bit slow in getting round to that one after speaking to Councillor Cruikshank, who I'm sure Councillor Devine's referring to, and that will come up at the next full council and the position will be changed then.
Is that okay, Councillor Devine? Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 6 is the Treasury Management Annual Report 2024-25, and it's a report by Mr Lorimer, our Director of Finance. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost. Good afternoon, members. This report looks back at the Council's Treasury Management activity for financial year 24-25, and it's a report that requires to be considered by full Council in line with the relevant codes of practice. The report was reviewed and scrutinised by the Scrutiny and Audit Committee on the 16th of September with no particular issues or concerns raised in that forum, but I'm happy to take any questions that members may have here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Lorimer. Any questions for Mr Councillor Cheap? Thank you.
Thanks, Provost. Again, it's a very simple one. I tried to read through all the papers, Mr Lorimer, but just for clarification, under 2.2, and when we end up with the net external debts at 31st of March, which has gone up from 76.8 million at the end of similar period last year to 124 million, 38,000 is a reduction in investments, but I couldn't read anything in the papers to put any note to that. I just wondered if you could clarify what that represents, please.
Yeah, thanks through you, Provost. Thanks, Councillor Cheap. Yes, so what we've been pursuing for the last 2 or 3 years is deferring new borrowing to fund our capital programme and running down our temporary cash balances in order to still be able to pay for those capital projects. So you see in that table, table 1, as you say, at 2.2 in the appendix to the report, a substantial reduction in our investments, and that is simply that we've been using our temporary cash to pay for capital projects. Once we undertake the new borrowing that we need to do, those temporary cash balances will start to rise again. But it's a deliberate part of a deliberate policy to defer new borrowing until interest rates are more favourable, which has taken longer than we had anticipated.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr Lorimer? Don't see any online either. Comments? Councillor Brace, thank you.
Thanks, Provost. I think I'm right in saying that this is the very first time I've not had a question on a Treasury Management report, and we've only had one question, and I think that speaks volumes about the clarity and the presentation of this report. Thank you very much.
Yes, they're always very detailed, Kenny. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Any comments? No more? Okay, we've got one recommendation, because as Mr Lorimer said, this report has already been at scrutiny and audit. With one recommendation. Is the report agreed? Thank you. Number 7 is the Angus Council Plan Annual Performance Report 2024-25, and again this has been at scrutiny and audit on the 16th of September, and the Chief Executive is going to introduce this one. Thank you.
Provost, members, I'm pleased to introduce the Angus Council Plan Annual Performance Report for 2024-25. The report provides a comprehensive overview of our progress against priorities that are set out in the Council Plan, reflecting the collected efforts of our staff, partners and communities over the past year. It highlights both our achievements and the challenges we continue to face. I'm grateful for the scrutiny provided already by members of the Scrutiny and Audit Committee. Gordon Cargill is available today to speak to any of the detail on the report itself, and relevant officers are present to take any further questions that members might have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs Lindsay. Are there any questions? No questions? No. Any comments? Councillor Durno and then Councillor Whiteside. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Convener. I welcome this report. On the actual community partnership within the council, we thank the people that help, our local football teams, etc. But I would also like to thank our local workers in the community at Arbroath Parks Department, especially Kevin Robertson, Jim Norman, David Docherty, David Graham, David Tasker and their staff, and also in conjunction with TSI Contracts, because they have delivered this year, transformed a council lay-by into a Kirkton community garden. I don't think we actually say how much our local workers do for the community, and I think it would be good if we could maybe start putting that in the report about the go above and beyond to help the community in this way. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point, Councillor Durno. Thank you. Councillor Whiteside.
Thank you. Obviously, this has already been to scrutiny and audit, so probably it was questioned quite thoroughly. But I just wanted to say I really appreciated Appendix 2 and the case studies. It's really good to get that perspective, and it brings the report to life. So thanks very much for that.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? No. Okay, there's one recommendation. Is that agreed? Thank you very much. Agenda item number 8. This one again has been at the special meeting of the Scrutiny and Audit Committee, and it's the Angus Council Annual Accounts 2024-25 and Annual Audit Report to members. And Mr Lorimer will introduce the report, but we've also got Pauline Gillen and Mark Laird from Audit Scotland with us online. Thank you.
Thank you again, Provost. Yep, this report presents the Council's 24-25 annual accounts following completion of the external audit process, along with the external auditor's report to elected members and the Controller of Audit. And that covers the accounts and the Council's wider governance and best value arrangements. The accounts and the auditor's report were considered at a special meeting of Scrutiny and Audit Committee last week, and I'm pleased to report that the accounts have now all been signed off by all parties. There is a lot in this report. I think the key messages give a synopsis of the Council's governance and performance arrangements, and there is much to be pleased with in that external independent assessment. As the Provost says, Pauline Gillen, who's the Audit Director for our audit, is on the call, and between us, hopefully, we can answer any questions that members may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr Lorimer. Any questions for either Mr Lorimer or Pauline? No. Any comments? Councillor Proctor, thank you.
Thank you, Provost. Once again, I'd just like to thank Mr Lorimer and the team, everybody who's been involved in producing this report. I think we in Angus Council are very, very fortunate to have such people part of our team, part of our group, and I once again always produces the goods, and on behalf of council members and on behalf of Angus Council and the community, I'd just like to thank them all.
Yes, I'd like to echo that as well, Councillor Proctor, because the reports are so detailed by Mr Lorimer's team and Audit Scotland as well. And as Councillor Braze just said at the last report, he's got nothing to ask because the report's so comprehensive. So thank you all for your work in that. Any further comments? No. Is this report agreed then? Thank you very much. Okay, agenda item number 9 is the Scrutiny and Audit Committee Annual Report 24-25, and Mr Gordon Cargill is going to introduce this one. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members. This report presents the Scrutiny and Audit Committee 2024 Annual Report for comment and approval. Members will see from the covering report that it is accepted as being best practice from SIPFA guidance that local authority audit committees should prepare an annual report to provide the assurance to the main governance body, in this case the Council, that it's fulfilling its purpose and having an impact. Appendix 1 to the report provides the final report from the committee, which was considered as a draft at the Scrutiny and Audit Committee at its meeting on the 17th of June and has thereafter been signed off by the convener. Cathy Wiley is the Service Leader Internal Audit, is the author of the report. However, Cathy, who's unavailable today, and I work closely to ensure the internal audit function maintains its independence from the overall corporate governance function of the Council. The only matter to highlight from the report is in relation to the Scrutiny and Audit Committee's oversight of risk management during 24-25, which was limited over that 24-25 period. The covering report provides an update on that in section 8.3, page 173 of the combined papers refers, and provides this council meeting with assurance that actions to improve risk management arrangements are all now complete, and that position was reported to the Scrutiny and Audit Committee in September by Mr Lorimer, who was leading on that work. Happy to take any questions on the report.
Thank you, Mr Cargill. Any questions for Mr Cargill? No, and I don't see any online either. Any comments? Councillor Bell, thank you.
Thank you. Obviously, having seen it at Scrutiny and Audit, I'm comfortable with it. I just wanted to flag up that the work that we've done in terms of sharing a service with Dundee City Council is a really good example, and we do keep checking in with Cathy Wiley that there aren't any untoward impacts on the team in terms of capacity and well-being, and we do get that assurance. Just wanted to contribute that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Bell. It seems to be working well. It's been a few years now, I think, we've done that, which is good. Councillor Duff, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Provost. Really just to say thank you for the report. One thing that I did discuss with Cathy Wiley, and I probably remiss of me not to ask the members of Scrutiny and Audit this, and I will do so afterwards by email, but she was keen that we had a private meeting once a year with external and internal audit, and whether that's happened or not, there seems to be a bit of dubiety about it, but I'll certainly ask members their views on that, and we will organise that at a point in future, just to say that. But thanks for the report.
Thank you, Councillor Duff. Councillor Devine, thank you.
Thanks, Provost. Training is mentioned in here, and I always appreciate getting some training. When you sit on scrutiny and audit, it's really quite important that you're well aware of all the aspects of it, and that you should be asking appropriate questions and scrutinising properly. So thanks very much for any training we can get, and I'm sure we'll get some in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Devine. Anyone else for comment? No. Is the report agreed? Thank you. Agenda item number 10 is the Standards Commission decision, and Mrs Watson is going to introduce this report, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost. This report advises Council of the terms of a written decision issued by the Standards Commission. As per the legislation, we're required to put this report before Council for noting. Thank you.
Okay. No questions or comments? No. Is the report noted then? Thank you very much. Now, members, agenda item number 11 is the Senior Management Structure Update, and Mrs Lindsay is going to introduce this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost. Members, this report brings forward an update on the Council's senior management structure following our comprehensive review. The proposed changes are designed to strengthen our strategic leadership, clarify roles and responsibilities, and ensure we remain resilient and fit for the future. Can I ask Council to note the outcome of the review, support the implementation of the revised structure, recognise the ongoing work to refine our operational arrangements as part of our wider change and improvement programme, and to delegate authority to the Acting Director of Legal, Governance and Change to undertake the relevant revisions to the scheme of delegation to officers with engagement through the Governance MOG as part of its final review of the scheme of delegation within that wider ongoing review of our scheme of governance, which was introduced last year. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the Chief Executive? Councillor Cheap, thank you.
Thanks again, Provost, and thank you, Cathy, because I know you've presented to administration and non-administration on this in advance, and thanks for that. And it's entirely my fault, but I forgot to ask one thing. So, just one. When we compare the before and after in the organisational chart there, if I can just pick out one item, Service Leader for Planning and Sustainable Growth currently sits under Director of Vibrant Communities and Sustainable Growth. And we look in the revised leadership team structure, the Service Leader of Vibrant Communities is still sitting under, along with other areas we would expect, under now with the Head Policy, Strategy and Engagement, but the Service Leader of Planning and Sustainable Growth has moved over to under the Director of Infrastructure and Environment. I'd just like to understand the background or reasoning for that move, because that's quite a significant move compared to many others in this chart.
Thank you very much for your question. So there were a range of configurations that were considered as part of the review, and in this particular instance we felt that the service leader post that you're referring to fitted well in terms of operational service delivery portfolio, although there are some strategic connects, and that connecting with council planning and the wider engagement piece is really important to maintain. But in terms of that head of service portfolio, it was felt that that was the planning element, the building control element and the regulatory elements sat better aligned with our professional services. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Speed.
Yep, thank you, Provost. I just wondered if Catherine could explain how the proposed senior management restructure will intangibly improve service delivery and positive outcomes for Angus residents, particularly in areas facing the greatest social and economic challenges, and in particular when the Vibrant Communities portfolio has been removed from the senior management team.
Thank you for your question, Councillor Speed. So the focus in relation to our restructure has been to make the best use of the resources that we have available and to configure that with a focus on people and an outcome for people. So the alignment of housing and social work allows us to focus on delivering for people in places, and our alignment of the Vibrant Communities service with our wider engagement roles and performance in the council is really important to make sure that we're informed by the views of the community and we're interacting with them across all those different strands. So whilst the Vibrant Communities Directorate, as it previously was, is no longer in the structure, all the component parts of it are there and they're just slightly differently configured.
Okay, Councillor Speed, you look like you might have a supplementary there.
Yeah, no, I can save it for comments. It's probably more of a concern than a follow-up question.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? No. Okay, we'll go to comments then. Councillor Speed, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just have a concern that taking that Vibrant Communities portfolio out of the senior management team, perhaps that there may be a loss of focus. I believe that the Vibrant Community team plays such a strong part in bringing our communities together, our partnerships together, and representing kind of those voices that don't often get heard. So I would hope that the restructure would be closely monitored to ensure that that isn't the case. And, you know, I believe that the Vibrant Community team sit well in terms of like what's expected of us in terms of our public sector duties. So I just want to advise caution. I'm certainly a little concerned in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Speed. Any further comments? Councillor Duff, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Provost, and thanks to the Chief Executive for the report. If you've been a councillor for quite a long time, you've seen lots of management changes, and sometimes you end up where you started. And you know, I think in life that you see lots of changes, and they tend to be cyclical. I support the direction of travel. I think having a senior team of 3 senior officers is a better organisational structure in my view than having 2. So I would support that, and 1 covering operational and 1 covering what I might call back office functions. I think makes sense. I think having a team of 3 in this circumstances is probably better than having a team of 2. So I would support it. There are changes that various elected members will quibble about, but I think it's been well thought through, and I would certainly be supportive. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Duff. Any further comments? No. Okay, there's 4 recommendations. Is this report agreed? Thank you very much. Now, agenda item number 12 is the Surplus Property Arbroath Community Centre, and Mr Daly, I think, is going to introduce this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost. This report notifies Council that the previously identified community-led operator, Shape Wellbeing CIC, is no longer pursuing a lease of Arbroath Community Centre, and as a result we are seeking a decision on the next steps for the building. In light of the updated position and the reasons set out in the report, it is recommended that the current roof waterproofing project is cancelled and that this UK Shared Prosperity Fund allocation is redirected to other priority projects. Council is asked to agree that Arbroath Community Centre be declared surplus to requirements and offered for sale on the open market in line with the Council's standard process and the fallback position outlined in the Policy and Resources Committee report of 28th of January 2025. The potential interest of the Arbroath Neighbourhood Board is noted, and placing the building on the open market will allow them and any other interested parties the opportunity to come forward. This approach ensures transparency, provides fair opportunity for all interested parties, and aligns with our commitment to delivering best value. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Daly. Any questions for Mr Daly? Councillor Durno, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Graham. I just wondered if the fact that the community centre sits on the Brothick, would that potentially be a problem for a planning developer for actually maybe turning it into flats?
That's not something that's been raised with myself previously, so I'm not aware of that being an issue. I would say that it would be for any interested party for them to do their own due diligence regarding the matter, but it's not something that has been referred to me previously.
Thank you both. Any further questions? No, don't see any online either. Comments? Councillor Bell and then Councillor Shepherd. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost. Yeah, I just wanted to thank SHAPE for their work on this. I had really liked their bid, their proposal for this initiative, and while I'm sorry to see them depart, I really wish them well for their onward journey. Thank you.
Councillor Shepherd. Thank you, Councillor Bell.
Thanks, Provost. The Arbroath Community Centre, it's obviously been many things over the years. A vaccine centre, there's been boxing matches there, football played, many things. So I know it's a building that a lot of people have affection for in the town. And I will say, at the PNR committee, I didn't really like the decision that was taken back then when councillors didn't back the funding to sort the roof back then. I wish the roof had been done, but we are where we are today, and I hope that a sale will perhaps result in going back into the community and the building finds a future use. The last thing I'd want to see is a dilapidated community centre. So, okay, it's going on the open market, but let's hope that it finds a use and has a positive end to what's been given a building that's been really a crown jewel for Arbroath. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Shepherd. Any other comments? Councillor Speed, thank you.
Yep, thank you, Provost. I too would just like to give my thanks and appreciation to Shape and Wellbeing. I know that they've dedicated a lot of time to this project, and I always appreciated their strong vision to improve health and wellbeing outcomes, which I know was driven by lived experience and a strong desire to make a difference within the Arbroath community. I know that latterly Shape Wellbeing had formed a strong advisory board of 19 members who played a pivotal role in supporting their most recent round of consultation. We know that taking on an initiative like this is never an easy task. However, their endeavours haven't gone unnoticed, and I do wish them well for the future and hope that this isn't, the end for them, and that they go on to continue with their health and wellbeing initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Speed. Any further comments? No. There are 7 recommendations in this report. Is they agreed? Thank you.
Provost, the point of order. Can I inquire what has happened to the emergency motion that was submitted?
Thank you, Provost. Through you. The emergency motion was not in time to be placed on the agenda, but can be brought forward by a member within the meeting to be ruled on by the Provost.
I understood that was normally done at the beginning of the meeting, but I did submit an emergency motion. It was submitted in time. It's been acknowledged by officers. As I understand it, it's up to the Provost whether he accepts the motion or not.
Thank you, Councillor Duff. It is for the member bringing the motion to raise that motion, and as it's not on the agenda. So it would be for the member to raise it, which can still be done within a meeting that's ongoing.
Well, I am raising it now. There was an emergency motion submitted in plenty of time, and it was acknowledged by officers. I understood that would have been put on the agenda at the beginning, but it didn't happen. I was somewhat surprised by that. But I'm raising it now before we reach the last item on the agenda.
I've been advised to finish the last item, Councillor Duff, 13.
Finish the item and then we can come.
And then we'll come back.
You'll do it at the end.
Thank you. Now, where were we? Questions on item 13, sorry.
Are we on? It's item 12, I think we were taking questions on, is it not?
Yeah.
Have we started item 13 yet? I think we have. Item 13 is the Prosperity Fund.
Okay, so agenda item 13, the final one, is the UK Shared Prosperity Fund 25-26 funding update and allocations, and either Jill Patterson or Victoria Gibbons are going to introduce this report.
Provost, good afternoon, members. Can everybody hear me? So this report refers to the UK Shared Prosperity Fund 2025-26 programme and provides an update on the allocation of funding to date and seeks members' approval to allocate funding to shortlisted projects. Members are asked to note updates to projects and funding allocations as set out in the report, and the change in circumstances relating to our Arbroath Community Centre Ruth project, and as outlined in separate report 28825, and that all UK Share Prosperity funding for 2025-26 must be spent and activity completed by the 31st of March 2026. And members are asked to agree funding allocations to projects recommended for approval in 2025-26 as set out in the report. Table 1 sets out the current funding position, Table 2 sets out funding proposals, and Table 3 sets out the allocations and balance sitting should members approve the recommendations in the report. This would leave a balance of £275,000 of the 2025-26 allocation remaining to be committed to new priority projects, subject to further reports to the appropriate committee at the earliest opportunity. And I'm happy to take questions on the report.
Thank you very much. Councillor Durno, then Councillor Melville and Councillor Whiteside. Thank you.
Thanks for the report, Victoria. It's regarding the DNAC Angus Business Skills Fund and the DNA Multiple Mass Support and the Business Gateway Additional Support and the Angus Business Grants. Can we actually get a summary after the amounts have been allocated to see what the amounts have been spent on? Because obviously I'm not in P&R or scrutiny and audit. So would it be possible, because if it's a good news story, it would actually be good to know about it, of anything that's happening in Arbroath with the money. Right, thank you.
Of course, more than happy to do that. I can provide an update to members out with committee by email. We're actually currently preparing our 6-month report that will go to UK government at the end of this month. So we're gathering reports from project leads and collating the data. I will circulate a copy of the report to all members, and that will provide a project update for each of the funded projects and spend to date.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Melville?
Yeah, thank you, Provost, and thanks, Victoria, for that. There's 50,000 in here earmarked for Angus Visitor Levy and Tourism Framework. I wonder if you could just give us a little bit of a rundown of how you envisage that money being spent.
project for the Angus visitor levy and tourism framework. It's in line with other local authority projects that are looking to support the implementation of visitor levies in the local area and investment in resources for doing so.
Yes, of course, Councillor Melville.
So just for clarity, so do you envisage that being spent on staff resource for that work?
Staff or consultants?
Councillor Bell, thank you.
Thanks, Provost. Thanks, Victoria. Hopefully quite a simple question. It was around Ride the North and the spend there. I wondered if you have any detail on what that spend entailed. I know a lot of officer time went into planning that, and I wondered if that has been aligned to that. And also in terms of any potholes, for example, did that come out of this pot here, or was that part of routine maintenance, just a timing alignment? Thanks very much.
No problem at all. So as with the previous year's funding allocation for Ride the North, because we had an allocation last year for this as well, the funding, it was capital funding, and it was for non-routine upgrades to the route to make safe specifically for the cyclists. So we have our routes and we have our routine maintenance programme to make safe for vehicular traffic. But due to the nature of the use of the route for the event, there were additional safety enhancements that were required for the surfaces. So it was capital costs for additional enhanced safety works to the road surfaces.
Councillor Whiteside, thank you.
Thank you. I think actually Councillor Beattie had his hand up before me
It's
as
okay.
well.
On you go.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you, Victoria. Given the decision item 12 and the additional remaining funding now available, we know that there's a very short time scale in which to spend that. So just looking for assurance and information about how that will be done in the short time.
Yes, so the deadline for spend and activity, funded activity to be completed is the 31st of March 2026. So we do have a short timescale remaining. We have some proposals already in this report, and should they be approved, we would have a balance of £225,000 remaining. The Strategic Projects and Funding Group are meeting next Monday, and we have a short list of proposals that we'll be taking to the group for discussion, and we hope for this to be going to the grants subcommittee in a few weeks' time. So all going well, this should make use of the remaining balance of funds.
Councillor Beattie, thank you.
Thank you, Provost. Really happy to see an extra 50,000 put into Brecon Recovery. I just wondered if there are any limitations on how that money can be spent.
This is to support recovery efforts in Brecon, and the proposal was put forward via the working group, who have identified a need for some additional resource around that work. So the report it is a brief outline of what they're looking to achieve, but this will be channeled back through the working group in terms of the resource that's required and outlining what the benefits and additional support that will be providing.
Thank you.
Councillor Devine, thank you.
Thanks, Provost. And thanks very much, Victoria. There is £20,000 in there for motorhome stopover site feasibility. I don't suppose you know how long that will take, but my plea would be that some of the extra money which is available could actually be used in getting this into place, because we've been talking about this for quite a few years, and I think we are at a stage for our tourist offer that these should be available to people with motorhomes as soon as we can, hopefully by summer.
So the previously approved funding for the feasibility study is now in use, and the feasibility study is currently underway. Whether or not we would have the results from that feasibility study in time to implement any of the changes for the cut-off of the 31st of March 2026 is not known, but I can certainly look into that and speak to the project lead to find out how they're getting on with the study and how far along we are. But it would really be pending the recommendations from the feasibility study. But it's not a no. I can certainly look into it and see if we can pop that onto the proposals.
Thank you. I do appreciate that, Victoria.
Councillor Cowdery, thank you.
Thank you very much. I see on the list there's Angus Business Grants, 250,000. Just for the benefit of any businesses or individuals who might be watching this at the minute, is it possible for you to just highlight when and how people could or organisations might be able to apply for them, or how would that be allocated? Thank you.
Thank you. The Angus Business Grants Scheme opened at the beginning of September and unfortunately closed on Friday last week. So there's no longer an opportunity to apply for that funding. The team are currently looking through the applications and shortlisting and following up. I can say that the grant scheme was very popular, and we've had a large number of applications from new businesses, and we've had some from businesses who applied last year as well, who've come back to do some follow-up work. So the opportunity for this round, unfortunately, is passed, but we will notify members and the public through all available channels if there are any future opportunities.
Councillor Cowdery, a supplementary? Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just a supplementary. I know of a couple of businesses who weren't aware, and nor was I actually, of the deadline there. So if we can explore next year just any ways, new ways and different ways we can get the message out. I appreciate all the ways you already get the message out, but any new and innovative solutions would be great. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Councillor Boyd, thank you.
It's a supplementary to that. I take it was oversubscribed, Victoria?
Very much so, yes.
Very much so. As long as we know that, there's nothing sitting there. It was oversubscribed. Thank you.
Any further questions? No. Oh, Councillor Speed, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Victoria. You may recall that I've previously corresponded and raised the issue around kind of some of the barriers to transport within Angus, particularly the unmet wheelchair taxi need. Is that something that could be considered? I know that perhaps not previously, but given that there is this surplus at the moment, is that something that could be considered?
Yes, I'm glad you asked for noting. So we had previously discussed the wheelchair accessible vehicle funding scheme to support the implementation of further accessible vehicles across Angus. The legal team, along with licensing, have carried out a feasibility study this year. I understand the report came to a committee in August with findings and recommendations. Unfortunately, for the timescales of this funding, through conversations with the team, we were going to be tight to agree and implement a funding scheme in time for the deadline for this particular pot of funding, but we are working together to identify alternative sources of funding in the hope that we can launch a scheme next year. But I'll keep you updated on how we get on with that, Councillor Speed.
Yeah, thanks, Victoria. Thank you. That's reassuring that you're still on it.
Councillor Cheap, thank you.
Probably just, my question, if it's probably the last question, it also runs into a comment. So can I just start that off and then is that okay? Thanks.
Of course.
So, and bear with me, I kind of scribbled this down as was because I should have had it prepared. But really, Victoria, South Angus really looking through this 1.6 million spend really isn't benefiting particularly from any particular aspects of the fund. And bearing in mind the great news that Christie Golf Links has been awarded the Dunhill Links Championship for a further 5 years until 2030, and that we hope to welcome back the Open Championship to Christie in the very near future, I would ask that a significant proportion of the £275,000 saving that's available from the non-spend on the Arbroath Community Centre be allocated to improving the welcome to Carnoustie, particularly the fencing around the beachfront car parks and along Links Parade. It was built, if I remember, for the return of the Open in 1999, and it's now well past its prime with rotten posts, rusted poles, etc. And if Carnoustie Golf Links and the economic benefits it brings is correctly seen as being viewed as one of the jewels in Angus crown, it really needs to start to look like it. So it'd be really helpful in, with the fact that we are trying to promote it and we're being successful in gaining more economic benefits for Angus through Carnoustie and through this golf, we could actually create and improve the welcome and use some of this fund for that. So I'm sorry, it's a question and it's a comment if that's possible.
Said we're drawing up proposals to be considered by the grant subgroup, and I would be really interested in speaking to you about that, see if we can tease out some further details. Would it be okay to follow up with you after the meeting?
Absolutely, yes.
Brilliant, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? No. Okay, there's 12 recommendations then. Are they agreed? Thank you very much.
Can I just give you the notice again of the emergency motion? Thank you.
And the reasons for urgency, and then we'll have a recess.
Councillor Duff, can I ask you to give us a brief context overview regarding the emergency motion and the reasons for the urgency, please, and then we're going to have a 10-minute recess.
Okay.
Thank you.
The emergency motion, I think, there was a meeting last week of Policy and Resources at which we agreed £21 million worth of spending with no debate, no comment from elected members, and I think that's unacceptable. It's a large sum of money, second only to the budget, and elected members should be able to discuss and debate that. That's my fundamental point. I'm unhappy about the allocation of funding for that scheme. I think it should come to full council, and I think there's some pertinent points which I've put in my motion which I think elected members are not aware of. And I think these are, I mean, the issues here are quite urgent. We don't have a plan for Brecon, and without a plan, you can't assign the money. We have got a plan of sorts for coastal erosion in Montrose. We have got a timescale there, and I don't think we've allowed enough money for that project. I think these are serious matters. They're not matters to be taken lightly, and I think what I'm asking for in this meeting is to refer the whole issue to a future council meeting, and so that all 28 members get a say in what we're going to do here. I think it's too important to have rushed it through P&R with no debate.
Thank you, Councillor Duff. Can we now...
Just before that, as a point of clarification, if I may, my understanding was also that Councillor Duff and Councillor Brays did try to refer it to full council, and the threshold for that was met during the meeting, but that doesn't seem to have been therefore actioned from my understanding of events.
Mrs. Watson?
Provost.
Yes, of course.
So I think we're talking about two quite separate things, and I'm wondering whether on officers might give the Provost advice on the first matter, Councillor Melville, before responding to yourself. Thank you.
Okay, in that case then we'll have a 15-minute recess. Thank you. Is that agreed?
Can we stop the live?
Okay, thank you for your patience. I'll now ask Mrs Watson, I think an answer for Councillor Melville, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost. In terms of the two terminologies of deferring and referring an item to full council, at Policy and Resources Committee last week, the amendment was to defer the item to full council, and that's in terms of Standing Order 15 to 1B. And it provides that a motion or amendment to defer the report for further consideration may be moved during the course of the meeting without written notice. Subsequently, once moved and seconded, the vote took place. Standing Order 36 provides for an item to be referred to Council or Committee for a decision. However, this standing order may only be used where a vote has taken place on the matter and two members immediately indicate that they wish the matter to be referred as opposed to deferred. In terms of the Policy and Resources meeting last week, Councillor Duff's amendment, seconded by Councillor Brays, was to defer to Council. It was considered against the motion to approve the recommendations. The vote took place, but immediately after that vote, Standing Orders provides that two members could have indicated that they wished the matter to be referred to Council for a decision under Standing Order 36. That obviously didn't take place last week, and that was why the matter wasn't to go to Council. Thank you.
Of course, Councillor MacDonald, thank you.
Could I make a request that when the MOG meets on standing orders, that's kind of looked at? It feels like it's quite an easy mistake to make if it was a mistake, but also it would be useful to have that sort of process tidied up, because it feels like you're doing the same thing, just with a difference in terminology. I don't see why that would be demarked out for anything else. Is that something that we could maybe look at, or if it has been looked at, be looked at again?
Thank you, Provost and Councillor MacDonald. Yeah, this was looked at in March this year, so the MOG had looked at it over the course of meeting at the end of last year, and this year it was brought to Council with some changes that weren't accepted by members. But certainly we can look at it again when the MOG meets and take on board the feedback. But it was something that had been looked at and brought to members in March.
Councillor Shepherd, thank you.
Just for clarity for meetings going forward, so if I was having a report which I wanted to refer to full council, am I right in thinking as long as I refer and I have one more councillor to back me, then that'll happen automatically and nobody can stop me if I put it like that? Just for, I think it'd be helpful for that, for the chamber to be clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Shepherd. So that would be the case provided that happened after the vote had taken place?
And it would have to be done at that meeting where the vote had taken place. Okay. Okay, anyone else? Okay, well, the 15-minute recess, and it has been necessary for me to determine if there are any material considerations that warrant reconsideration of report number 258/25, which may allow the emergency motion to be ruled as urgent by me and subsequently debated thereon. Having considered the position and the reasons for urgency provided, I have concluded that there are no material considerations that warrant reconsideration of the item. Thank you. That's the end of the meeting, and have a good afternoon.
Can we stop the stream, please?